hazardous conditions in Huntington have lifeguards leaping into action.
Tower guard from the beach is not going to have enough time to get to that person. We have to get to them before they would get to the pier and maybe panic or serious injury. We have to get to them before that. So it's just the quickest way to get there if you have to.
In Long Beach, the lifeguards come across a boat taking on a lot of water.
Hey, water!
Hopefully we can get ahead of it before it goes down.
Trying to locate the source right now. We think it's coming in where the shaft enters the hull.
We couldn't keep up. It was still going down.
And in San Diego, the guards pull a hypothermic long-distance swimmer to safety.
Let's go heater in here, and you're running oxygen from the back seat.
The victim just seemed like her mental functions were diminished. What was interesting, though, is once we put her on oxygen and turned the heater up nice and hot in the truck, quickly those mental capacities started coming back. One of the first things I got out of her was she was also with her daughter.
Jet 3, the 6-year-old daughter of the victim is out there.
In La Jolla, California, the San Diego lifeguards are preparing for a busy weekend day. With beach temperatures expected to reach into the high 70s, a large beach crowd is a given. But the wind on the coast is affecting the water temperature.
When you have wind blowing parallel to the coast, it's pushing the surface water back and bringing cold water up to the surface very quickly.
With today's unseasonably cool water temperatures, the day has only just begun when the first call comes in.
Dispatch 31, Sam, in the Holy Shores. I have a 911 call of a distressed swimmer south of Scripps Pier.
La Jolla Shores is under the command of Sergeant Eric Kerr.
We get a 911 call. That's all I have to hear. I get in my truck. The next thing I want to know is, who's reporting this?
31 Sam, copy. Do you have any RP information?
3 groups of novice swimmers being escorted by some rental kayaks.
Copy. We're watching Jet 3.
Sergeant Kerr immediately dispatches a lifeguard personal watercraft to respond. The distress call has come in from an area just off the Scripps Pier, a popular landmark for long-distance swimmers. Given today's cool water conditions, a quick response time is essential.
If you're in 60-degree water, your body wants to be 98.6. I don't care what wetsuit you're wearing, there's a timeline where eventually you're going to be too darn cold.
21 Sam to Rescue S. We want you to start heading towards La Jolla and got a situation with distressed swimmers.
Copy, Rescue S, leaving the Mission Beach area, responding to La Jolla.
He's on a kayak about 100 yards outside the surf line south of Scripps Pier.
Confirm, we got it. I can see the guy in the cell phone.
Lifeguard Terry Hedgecock was driving Jet 3 and was first on scene with the swimmer.
When we got to her, she was getting hypothermic. I asked her age, she didn't know her age. She knew she was in the ocean, she didn't know where she was in the ocean, so that to us is a big red flag, so we want to make sure we get her to the beach.
Dispatch requesting medics to Shores Tower. We've got one patient complaining of nausea and hypothermia.
With the woman in bad shape, Jet 3 races her back to shore and Sergeant Kerr.
So you're going to scoop and haul, victim here, you on the bumper.
Given the woman's severe condition, getting her out of the water is the highest priority.
Okay, scoop and haul into my car. I got the heater on.
Unable to even stand on her own, the lifeguards rush the woman out of the frigid water.
Running oxygen from the back seat.
The victim just seemed like her mental functions were diminished. We call it LMNO ×4 in the field, but that means is the victim alert and oriented to person, place, time, and event. Do you know what happened? Do you know your name? She wasn't answering all those questions lucidly. Treatment in this particular case, there's certainly different ways you can do it. The best field technique that we used was just, even as we were en route, closed all the windows, put the heater on full blast. It's probably at least 100 degrees in that car. So anything above 98.6 is certainly going to help raise the core temperature.
31 Sam to dispatch. Patient is LMNO ×2 going on 3 with heat and oxygen, and we'll be back at the Shores Tower.
Copy. They're coming to the Shores Tower.
What was interesting, though, is once we put her on oxygen and turned the heater up nice and hot in the truck, quickly those mental capacities started coming back, and she was able to answer those questions. One of the first things I got out of her was she was also with her daughter.
Jet 3, the 6-year-old daughter of the victim is out there.
Once we got the information about there's now a daughter out there, certainly that was a concern. It's like, you know, hey, we've got this mother that's now receiving treatment and going in the ambulance who was with her daughter. And, you know, we don't know if the daughter's unattended, if her mother was the only chaperone. Obviously, mother's hypothermic. This daughter's on a 2-mile swim. You're gonna have to assume probably a good athlete also, very well. Could be very lean and could be also susceptible to hypothermia.
Jet 3 races back out to the frigid waters along the 2-mile course to find the 6-year-old girl, who's now swimming without her mother. 10 miles north of La Jolla lies the city of Del Mar, a classic Southern California beach community. The 2-square-mile town was put on the map in 1937 with the opening of the Del Mar racetrack. Del Mar became a popular destination for Hollywood royalty. Even the town's unofficial catchphrase, "Where the surf meets the turf," was coined by Bing Crosby. Del Mar has striking bluffs to the south and a river mouth to the north that splits the beach. These features and ever-changing weather conditions keep the lifeguards on their toes.
Every day is something different, and there's no question about it. It's all weather conducive. Poor weather brings less action, less people. Good weather brings a lot of excitement, a lot of action, and it gets the day to go much quicker.
In anticipation of the busy day ahead, lifeguard Mark Rathsom gathers the crew for a meeting at the main tower.
Today we've got the bocce ball tournament. It's going to be pretty busy up there. I think there's 3,000 people, alcohol, stingrays we had last year, and medical aids. The sun's going to break today, probably about noon. We do have a high tide later this morning, so you guys want to watch for those flash rips. Okay, you guys, make sure to grab the radios and let's get them open.
With today's marching orders in place, the lifeguards head out to fulfill their duties. Del Mar lifeguards use a full complement of equipment to patrol their beach, from inflatable boats on the water to ATVs on the sand. These guards are equipped for anything.
Boat 1, station 3. Be anyone back to 5.
And all these components will be directed by the lifeguards in the main tower at 17th Street. Lifeguard Claire O'Leary's assignment for the day? North Beach and the bocce ball tournament.
This is my 6th summer lifeguarding in Del Mar. I started as a junior lifeguard when I was 10 and just kind of fell in love with the ocean. Bocce ball kind of throws in some new elements. It should be an interesting mix of a lot of people drinking and a big rip current. Don't know what kind of contacts we'll be making, but I like those kind of exciting days where you don't really know what's going to happen. It's one of the best parts of the job, actually. The sun comes out and all these people that are drinking go into that rip current right there. That's where our action's going to happen. People just get swept off their feet. It's strong current. It's going to be a fun day.
As lifeguard O'Leary begins her watch over North Beach, it's not the enormous crowd at the bocce ball tournament that has her worried. It's the dangerous rip currents in front of her. Claire spots a small child being pulled out by the treacherous currents.
Little arms start going, you just know it's time to head out. We got out there and he said, "I called for help." He's really small, probably 6 or 7. Just gets really good currents going, and when you're smaller, you can't really swim through it and can't get to a place you can touch, so. Parents were in here that kind of ran up and grabbed their parents, but that's typically how it goes. We're out there before they even know the kids are getting in trouble, so. Yeah, a little scared, but those are the kind of easy ones because I get in and then I'm up to here and they're all right, so that's why we go out.
Claire's careful watch kept the young boy safe from the rip current. But farther south in Del Mar, guards at the 17th Street Lifeguard Station have spotted their own dangerous situation forming. Flash rips.
When we're looking out at the water, what we're looking for is a certain water condition, you know, like a rip current. 80% of our rescues are in rip currents. They're pretty easy for us to identify. They almost look like a small river going out to sea. The water's moving out. We're also looking for people in the rips. They're looking in and they're just Instead of duck diving under the waves, they're taking waves over the back of their head. That's an indicator to us that they want to be on the beach.
With the rip currents pulling the swimmers out to sea, the lifeguards launch into action.
When the flash rip lights up, it just takes them straight out, just like any other rip current. The one thing with our flash rips is that it only takes them about shoulder deep, but that's enough for a small kid not to be able to keep their feet on the ground.
Equipped with their rescue boards, the lifeguards rush to bring swimmers back to safety.
A lot of the time they don't know what they are, but they feel that they're getting pulled out. And then a lot of times they just need help in.
We just went too far out, and I guess we were in a rip current, so they came and got us.
Lifeguard Mallory Murphy IDs another rip current victim.
They were coming in, they had someone past the waves, and there was a strong rip tide coming. We thought that they wouldn't be able to make it quite in.
I can't swim back to, like, we're not even moving.
I knew the guy probably wouldn't get on the board, but the girl wasn't that strong of a swimmer, so she hopped on.
Oh my God, big wave. Oh my God, I'm scared of big waves.
You have to kind of boost them on, and then you got to get behind and paddle the board, because you got to make sure that there's an even weight on the board so you don't nosedive. Yay! Rescue!
For now, the flash rips have stopped, and the guards have kept Del Mar safe. But they will continue their careful watch, because they know things out here can change quickly. 10 miles down the coast in La Jolla, California, lifeguards have rescued a hypothermic long-distance swimmer. But they discover that she's left something behind in the cold water. Her 6-year-old daughter.
We're gonna try to get her on our jet ski and bring her into you. How big your group is? Okay, big group though, right?
While the girl's mother is still in hypothermic shock, Jet 3 scours through the large group of swimmers looking for her child.
She's now probably a 3, still a little fuzzy.
All right, what city are we in right now? All right, what year is it?
Just as the paramedics are set to transport the mother to the hospital, lifeguards return her daughter to shore.
I don't know, her daughter's okay. She's coming up right now.
A family reunited.
So they're just making sure your mom's okay right now. It should be good in a few minutes, okay? Are you gonna swim back now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where to, the cove? The cove? You walk for me? Nice and easy, okay?
The daughter's going with you.
As a sergeant, you've got a lot of things going on, but just to actually, okay, good. The jet ski found the girl. She's on the beach. It's the right daughter. They didn't grab somebody else's kid. They grabbed the right daughter, and then she's safely on the beach. It worked out very well.
31 Sam dispatch, medic rescue 9, script La Jolla, lifeguards, fire clear.
Winds off the California coastline help produce some of the best surf in the world. And nowhere is that more apparent than Huntington Beach. Surfers come from all over the world to catch one of Huntington's famous waves. But these crowded waters can become a breeding ground for disastrous collisions. Surfers not only need to look out for oncoming swimmers, but also a much more dangerous obstacle, the Huntington Beach Pier. The best waves in Huntington break on and next to the pier. And at 1,800 feet in length, there's plenty of pier for those waves to break on. For high-speed surfers, these concrete pilings pose a serious threat. Huntington Beach has stationed some of their most experienced guards at a tower on the pier known as Tower Zero. From here, lifeguards can easily spot swimmers and surfers caught near the pier and react the quickest way possible, 40 feet straight down. Rescues from here require the utmost concentration, as conditions around the pier are always changing. In this amateur video, a lifeguard decides the best route to safety is actually on the other side of the pier. so he carefully guides the boogie boarder through the pilings. And in this cell phone video, a lifeguard is pulling 3 stranded young girls away from the pier and back to the safety of the shore.
Triple save.
With a combination of precision and teamwork, victims of rip currents and surf injuries are routinely saved from a disastrous collision with Huntington's Pier. Today, several Huntington Beach lifeguards are taking part in a pier jump training exercise, led by Marine Safety Officer Matt Carl.
If the person's out far enough where the tower guard from the beach is not going to have enough time to respond and get to that person, we have to get to them before they would get to the pier and maybe panic. It's just the quickest way to get there if you have to.
Jumping from this pier is no easy task. It's an extremely dangerous maneuver, but the lifeguards here have developed a landing technique to protect themselves from injuries and a hand signal to show that they have landed safely.
Out here where we're practicing, it's plenty deep enough, but where we actually make most of our rescues is going to be in closer where the surf is breaking. There's sandbars, the sand shifts, the tides. You never really know how deep the bottom is, so you have to assume the worst, that it's really shallow. So the technique for overcoming the possibility of hitting the bottom is to jump out far to get some horizontal, direction going, not just straight down, and then landing kind of at a 45-degree angle with your feet hitting, and then try to continue out so that you don't go so deep.
Although it looks like a fun ride down, for today's training purposes, lifeguards have to climb 30 feet up a rope ladder to get back to the top of the pier.
Prepare yourself, old man.
Now finally you can smile as long as nobody put Vaseline on the rail.
And when there's a rescue too far from shore, lifeguards have devised a way to respond quickly.
If we have a rescue that's in here, somebody needs to be rescued, the boat can actually spin around where there's a swell. As the swell goes by, the boat goes up, and as the bow drops onto the backside of the wave, the stern shoots up, and the deckhand can actually be on the stern as it shoots up, launch him outwards, and hopefully the guard is able to jump off the back, land in the wave, and continue to body surf right up to the victim.
Every guard at Tower Zero must have this pier jump training, because without it, a victim against the pier would never be reached in time for a rescue. Sheltered by the Palos Verdes Peninsula and man-made breakwaters, Long Beach is home to some of the best boating weather on the planet. Every day, vessels of all shapes and sizes come to Long Beach. From tankers to trawlers, the one thing these boats have in common, a leak can mean disaster. And a leak is what Long Beach lifeguard Robert Hamilton is up against this afternoon.
Okay, what we have is a 42-foot trawler taking on water. Hopefully we can get ahead of it before it goes down.
When Robert arrives, Rescue Boat 2 is already on scene, pumping water out of the sinking ship. A vessel of this size could contain over 400 gallons of fuel. If it sinks, gasoline and oil will spill out, ravaging the marina, causing an ecological nightmare.
She was about probably 1.5 feet down in the bow. If they go down in the transom, the water starts coming in on its own. Besides the leak, then they go pretty fast.
Hey, do you have any idea what's leaking in here?
No idea.
A hose, anything?
Somebody on the other end of this?
Yeah.
Hey.
Assisting Robert on this call is his deckhand, one of Long Beach Fire Department's most veteran lifeguards, John Burke.
Been a lifeguard here in Long Beach since 1972. This is my 40th summer down here on the beach. When I'm not doing this job here in Long Beach, I work at Long Beach Poly High School as a history teacher. I teach history and chair the history department there. In 40 years of lifeguarding, I have seen quite a lot of action. Anything from still water rescues to boats and airplane crashes. One that stands out in my mind, I think, happened in the second year I was lifeguarding. I saw a young man about 16 fall off a paddleboard, watched him fall, took off after him. He went to the bottom, and after a couple of surface dives, I was able to recover him and bring him up. And I still, to this day, remember his name.
Yeah, a little more.
This is the greatest job anybody could ever have. And I couldn't be prouder than to serve the City of Long Beach Fire Department, and 40 years of lifeguarding has been a dream come true.
Hey, water!
With multiple pumps working overtime, John and the other lifeguards race to get another one running.
I had 2 small pumps that I brought over. We couldn't keep up. It was still going down. The engine was over half submerged.
Tell me when you got it.
Right there.
A lot of water in the bilge up around his engine. Trying to locate the source right now. We think it's coming in where the shaft enters the hull. We got to get the water out so we can figure out where it's coming in.
The extra pump is paying off. For the first time, water is going out faster than it's coming in.
Blue line's staying steady right now. I'll let you know when we get ahead of it. Stop.
We pumped out as much as we can from the bilge. We're still trying to find the source. We think
We're done. You can shut down. Boat 2 is going to stay on scene. Hopefully patch it up. If not, either way, this guy's got to have it fixed. He's got to be seaworthy just to be in the marina. So he's going to have to make repairs or get a haul out.
For lifeguards Robert Hamilton and John Burt, this call is over. But they head back out on patrol where they will continue to keep Long Beach afloat.